Musical journey through some of the most magnificent places on earth. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty. Steeped in and result in the story and the result and resulting. Stories and music of the world's greatest composers. Music of the world's greatest composers. Debussy, Rossini, and Elgar Rachmaninoff. Just some of the greats in our classical destination. Just some of the greats in our classical destinations. Just some of the greats in our classical destinations. Just some of the greats in our classical destinations. Just some of the greats in our classical destinations. We're in the city of London. In every way. In every way. Except that of governments. In every way. In every way. We're in the city of London in every way, except
the center of Europe.
Except the
Today, close to 8 million.
We're in the city of London in every
We're
way.
in the city of London.
London.
In every way.
In every way.
Except that of government.
Except that of governments, the center of Europe. In every way except that of governance, the center of Europe. We are in the city of London in every way except that of governments, the center of Europe. We are in the city of London in every way except that of governments, the center of Europe. Except that of governments, the center of Europe.
The center of
Today, close to 8 million people coast through its streets. Today, close to 8 million people coast through its streets. close to 8 million people goes through its streets.
And
Millions more come to visit.
will stay to try
Millions more come to visit.
and make their
Or
fortune.
stay to try to make the fortune.
As it is now, people course through its
Goes
streets.
through its streets.
And millions more
And millions more come to visit.
will stay to try and make their fortune.
Or stay to try to make their fortune. And millions more come to visit. Millions more come to visit or stay to try to make their fortune. Make their fortune.
Fortune. As it is now.
As it is
so
now.
was 300
As it is now. As it is now. So it was 300 years ago.
years ago.
When a young German musician arrived.
Via a
Sergeant in Italy.
and
Millions will come to visit.
will stay to try
Or
and make
stay
their
to
fortune.
try to make their fortune.
As it is now.
As it is
so
now. As it is now. As it is now. Handel. Years ago, when a young German musician arrived,
was 300
300 years ago,
when a young
German musician arrived,
via
a sergeant in Italy. Via sergeant in Italy.
His name,
His name,
Georg
Georg Friedrich
Handel.
Handel. His name, Georg Friedrich.
We'll also take a side trip to Dublin,
Also
the capital of Ireland.
We
where
also
Handel's-
take a side trip to Dublin. We also take a side trip.
Handel.
Handel. We'll also take a side.
We'll also take a side trip to Dublin.
We'll also take a side trip to Dublin. We'll also take a side trip to Dublin. We'll also take a side trip to Dublin,
The capital
the
of
capital of
where
Ireland,
Handel's
where
Messiah
Handel's Messiah
was
premiered in
1742.
1742.
We'll also take a
We
side
also
trip
take a side trip to Dublin, the capital of
where Handel's
Ireland,
Messiah was premiered in 1742.
where Handel's Messiah, Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. The capital of Ireland, the capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742.
The capital of
The capital of
where
Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. The capital of Ireland, the capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. The capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742.
In classical
It's classic
destinations,
destination. I hear London third imagination of a Handel. With some help from our residents musicians of the world's famous Australian chamber orchestra. The music composed by Handel is what music, fireworks music, the grip of Troy Messiah with his iconic Hallelujah chorus. Oh, seem to capture something about London. The quite literally it sounds so much more strongly than pictures or even living memories in some cases. Great cities manage Handel's imagination.
Is it the same spirit we feel in Handel's music when we hear it? Something that can evoke even today's London? In classical destinations, we'll hear London through the imagination of
imagination. We'll hear London through the imagination. Handel, with some help from our residents musicians of the world famous Australian chamber orchestra. The music composed by Handel.
His water music, fireworks.
His water music, his water music, his water music, his water music. Fireworks music.
Music, the great oratorio.
Great oratorio Messiah. Great oratorio Messiah. Messiah. With his iconic Hallelujah. With his iconic Hallelujah. Seem to capture something about London. Chorus. Oh. Seem to capture something about London. That quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures or literally sounds so much more strongly than pictures or etchings, or even remembrance in cases. It's good to have a great city managed to sit into Handel's vivid musical imagination. Is this the same spirit we feel in Handel's music when we feel something that can evoke even today's London? It may be too fast in this association. You know, I really do think so.
We'll also take a side trip to Dublin, the capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah. In
classical destinations, we hear London through the imagination of a Handel, with some help with our residents musicians, the world's famous Australian.
The music composed by
Handel. His music, fireworks music, the great oratorio Messiah, with its iconic Hallelujah chorus. Oh, seem to capture something about London. The quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures. Sounds much more strongly than pictures or etchings. Living memories in cases. Can a big the spirit of this great city manage to sit of this great city?
vivid musical
Vivid musical
imagination.
imagination.
Is
Is
it
it the same spirit
in
we
Handel's
feel? Handel's music.
music when we hear it? Something that can
Something that can evoke even today's London.
Maybe too fanciful.
Too fancy for it as a decision, but you know, I really do think so. I really do think so. I really do think so.
When we hear it,
something that can evoke even today's London. London.
It may be too fanciful.
It may be too fanciful. Maybe too fanciful an association, but you know, I really do think so. But you know, I really do think so. I never too fanciful.
By the early 1720s, Handel's decision to
Great towns and cities of Europe are steeped in history and beauty and resounding the stories and music of the world's greatest composers. Just some of the greats in our classical destinations, in every way, except that of government's the center of Europe. Today, close to 8 million people coast through its streets. Millions more come to visit or stay to try and make their fortune. As it is now, so it was 300 years ago when a young German musician arrived via Sargent in Italy. We'll also take a side trip to Dublin. The capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. His water music, fireworks music, the great oratorio Messiah, with his iconic Hallelujah chorus, all seem to capture something about London that quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures or etchings, or even living memory, in some cases. Can it be that the spirit of this great city the spirit of this great city managed to seep into Handel's vivid musical imagination? Is it the same spirit we feel in Handel's music when we hear it? It may be too fanciful an association. But I really do think so. Association, but I really do think so. steep in. Steep something in something. The college is steeped in history. These ancient scholars were steeped in poetry and painting, as well as math and astronomy. It's stated. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty and resounding the stories and music of the world's greatest composers. Steep in. Let's get into a place. Steep in. Steep in. The college is steeped in history. Stated. Stated. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty and resounding. Sound. Sound. Resounding. Some of the great classical destinations. No. And resounding the stories and music of the world's greatest composers. And resounding. Beautiful resounding the stories. Resounding. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty and resounding the stories and music. Resounding the stories and the music of the world's greatest composers. Sound. Great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty and resounding the stories and music of the world's greatest composers. Just some of the great classical destinations in every way. in every way. Just some of the great classical destinations. In every way except that of governments, that center of Europe. In every way except that governments, the center of Europe. Today close to um, close to 8 million. They're close to 3 each kite. Today close to 8 million people coast through to rush or flow through something. So let me do coast through. The alcohol seems to coast through these veins. Alcohol seems to coast through these veins for faster than usual. Students goes through the rooms. People coast through its streets. Millions more come to visit or stay to try and make their fortunes as it is now. Control the as it is now. So it was 300 years ago when a young German musician, as it is now. So it was 300 years ago when a young German musician, as it is now. So it was their fortune as it is now. So it was 300 years ago when a young German musician arrived via Sargent in Italy. As it is now, so Sargent, Michelle. In a Sargent, via Sargent. And console, Sargent. Console, via Sargent. Via Sargent. 紛争として紛争 in Italy. We'll also take a side trip. Take side trip. Take a side trip. Take a side trip. We also take a side trip to Dublin. 寄り道をする We'll also take a side trip to Dublin, the capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. His water music, his water music, his water music. Water music. 水上の音楽 Water music 水上の音楽 His water music, fireworks music, Handel 王宮の花火の音楽 I see. His water music, fireworks music, the great oratorio Messiah. Oratorio. Oratorio 生誕期 oratorio Messiah with his iconic Hallelujah chorus. Iconic. 象徴的な seem to capture something about London that quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures or etchings. Etching. Seem to capture something about London that quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures or etchings, or even living memory in some cases. Etchings. Or even living memory. 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 生きた記憶で記憶に残っている。 In some cases, can it be that the spirit of this great city managed to seep into seep into seep seep into seep into to flow slowly through something, to flow slowly through something, to flow slowly through something. Maybe a mistake of putting his wet clothes in the same bag. So the blue of his jeans seeped into his white shirt, seeped into vivid musical. Handel's vivid musical imagination. Uh, can can it be that the spirit of this great city managed to seep into Handel's vivid musical imagination? Managed to seep into. Can it be that the spirit of this great city managed to seep into Handel's vivid musical imagination? Is it the same spirit we feel in Handel's music when we hear it? It may be too fanciful. Maybe too fanciful, fanciful, maybe too fanciful, maybe too fanciful an association. Association. But I really do think so. I really do think so. It's great towns and cities of Europe steeped in history and beauty and resounding to stories and music of the world's greatest composers. Just some of the great classical destinations in every way except that of government's the center of Europe. Today, close to 8 million people coast through its streets. Millions more come to visit or stay to try and make their fortune as it is now. So it was 300 years ago when a young German musician arrived via Sargent in Italy. We'll also take a side trip to Dublin, the capital of Ireland, where Handel's Messiah was premiered in 1742. His water music, fireworks music, the great oratorio Messiah with his iconic Hallelujah chorus all seem to capture something about London that quite literally resounds so much more strongly than pictures or etchings or even living memory in some cases. Can it be that a spirit of this great city managed to seep into Handel's vivid musical imagination? Is it the same spirit we feel in Handel's music when we hear it? It may be too fanciful an association, but I really do think so.